Greetings from Ntr TV. This is Dr. Yavuz Selim Salai, physician, entrepreneur, and venture architect. I am really excited and thrilled to deliver the best and top and most intriguing, exciting news in healthcare. WHN is being really reviewed and we are receiving very good input thanks to your support. You can always call me through my WhatsApp number. And here is our top 5 news. Our first news is on June 24th, 2020, at the Hilton Hotel in Ankara, there will be a magnificent National Awards on Healthcare and Environment ceremony. And there will be a very interesting ceremony where the top health officials will be attending, including the major healthcare companies. And if you're interested in to be considered for this award, please contact Ntr TV us directly. Our second news is about another very important event on November 23rd and 24th. We are honored to announce and support the interest towards promoting and advancing pharmaceutical Middle East 2020 in Istanbul. This event will be a very important one. It's surely going to be one of the highest quality and critical events this year. You can invite your colleagues, known researchers, doctors, and industrialists and pharmaceutical companies so that they could all be aware of this event and part of it. And I believe you are all welcome to review the pharmaceutical opportunities in the Middle East through the hub of the world, Istanbul. Our third news is about a very interesting point. I know many of you at your home are bilingual. So the question is, can infants benefit from a bilingual home? And we will share a very interesting study about in your home, your babies, if they are actually in an environment where more than one language is spoken, we will see if this is actually helping your children or not. Our third point is very interesting as well. And you know, overall, when we look at it, the measuring of iron in the brain, this is the question. When you measure the iron in the brain, there are very interesting researches going on highlighting that actually this can show dementia. And the fifth news is about type 1 diabetes. Diabetes is one of the most catastrophic diseases. There are two types, type 1 and type 2. And type 1 diabetes is actually being cured in mice using stem cell. So these news are the top news of today that I will share with you. And I'm really thrilled to be with you today. The first one is about the amazing event in Ankara. As you know, Ankara is the capital of Turkey. And at one of the most prestigious hotels, Hilton Hotel, on June the 24th, there will be a very important National Awards and Healthcare and Environment ceremony that will be actually supported and attended by many parts of the world, including in Turkey. There will be attendance from high-level ministers, as well as Turkish presidency and Social Security Institute, Turkish Minister of Health, as well as Turkish Science Council, as well as Turkish different healthcare sectors, pharmaceutical, medical device, hospitals that are very important in Turkey in terms of healthcare tourism. So if your company wants to be considered for one of the awards, which will be a very important significance, please call me at this WhatsApp number and let's talk about how to actually understand if one of your projects can be a candidate to be recognized at this very important event. And the second news is about which I highlighted before, November 23rd, 24th, is a very important date in Istanbul. We are truly honored to announce the interest towards promoting and advancing Pharma Middle East 2020. This event has been done also last year, which I had the honor and pleasure to attend with many colleagues from 20 different countries. And in Istanbul, by November, we again welcome all of you and really focus on very interesting points about pharmaceutical, about medical device, and in general about the issues of pharma drug delivery, including new generation government engagement and innovation, and how to improve science together. On this very important highest quality event, I welcome you to join us if you are an academician, a physician, a researcher, or a pharmaceutical company who wants to understand the innovation more as well as the new generation government engagement more. To be part of this event, please contact me directly through my WhatsApp number, and we kindly request you to also share this very important conference in Istanbul on November 23rd and 24th, which is one of the top events in Istanbul. You'll also have an amazing opportunity to see Istanbul, enjoy the beauties of Turkey. So we all welcome all of you to this amazing event. As well. Let's look at the 7 technologies transforming the industries based on this digital transformative initiative research. Artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars as we know, big data analytics and cloud, custom manufacturing and 3D printing. 3D printers are almost everywhere now. Internet of Things, IoT, and the robots and drones, and social media platforms, which all of us are almost integrated with our phones, wherever we are. Social media is part of our being. If somebody like us on internet... Our third news is about how infants benefit from a bilingual home. This has been written by Robbie Berman. Thanks to Robbie for sharing this. A study, ladies and gentlemen, finds that infants from bilingual homes pay attention to new information faster than other children. The jury is still out on the long-lasting effects of learning 2 languages in the home. People have credited the so-called bilingual advantage with providing a variety of long-term cognitive benefits, although some studies question whether the advantage exists at all. Meanwhile, researchers have observed some of the alleged benefits of bilingualism in preverbal children. Based on the findings of their new study, they have concluded that living in a bilingual home helps the children develop greater flexibility in acquiring very new information, even before they learn to speak at all. This study is from Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge, United Kingdom, and this was part of the journal Royal Society Open Science. So the hypothesis under the investigation is whether the more complex linguistic environment in a bilingual home prompts an infant to develop the ability to switch their attention more rapidly between different stimuli. And there are very different ideas around this. Dean D'Souza, who is a senior lecturer in psychology at the ARU, is the lead author of the study. And Dean D'Souza and colleagues have written that they actually are proposing a very interesting point. The proposal is that exposure to more varied and to more predictable and less environments drive infants to sample more by placing less weight on consolidating the familiar information in order to orient sooner to and explore new stimuli. For more information, you can also check the journal.
Hi, my name is Naya Feriana Ramirez, and I'm a research scientist at the Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences at the University of Washington. I'm here in the iLab's magnetoencephalography facility, where my collaborators and I recently conducted a study comparing the brain processing of language sounds in bilingual and monolingual babies. First, we brought the 11-month-old babies into the lab with their parents. Half of the babies were from monolingual, English-only households. The other half of the babies, such as the one in this video, were from Spanish-English bilingual households. Our researchers first prepared the babies for data collection. They used a hat and a special digitizing pen to track the shape of the baby's head. This procedure allowed us to continuously monitor the baby's head position as they moved in the MEG machine. Then we brought the babies into the MEG room. The magnetoencephalography, or MEG machine, is safe, non-invasive, and completely silent. By detecting changes in the magnetic field, it precisely pinpoints both the timing and the location of activity in the brain. Our MEG facility is the first in the world configured specifically for babies. During data collection, the babies sat on a special high chair beneath the MEG helmet with their parents sitting nearby. The babies listened to a stream of sounds such as da's and ta's. Some of the sounds were specific to English and Spanish, and some were common to both languages.
Da, 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 da.
When we looked at the brain responses, we found that at 11 months of age, the brains of babies from monolingual families were specialized to process the sounds of English and were not sensitive to Spanish. The brains of babies from bilingual families, on the other hand, were specialized to process the sounds of both languages, Spanish and English. Together, this shows that by 11 months of age, the infant brain specializes in whatever language or languages are present in the environment. Another important finding was that when directly compared to monolingual babies, the bilingual babies showed stronger responses in the prefrontal and orbitofrontal cortex. These areas are associated with executive function skills and are known to be active when bilingual adults switch back and forth between speaking two different languages. In our study, we see that the same brain areas are also active when bilingual babies just listen to a stream of sounds from both languages. From the first day of life, bilingual babies practice switching back and forth between two different languages, and this may be related to increased activity in brain areas involved in executive function.
Our fourth news is about measuring the iron in the brain, because iron actually can possibly point to dementia. Researchers have discovered a way of detecting the progression of dementia in people with Parkinson's disease by measuring iron deposits in their brains. A team of researchers has discovered that it is possible to measure the progression of dementia in people with Parkinson's disease by tracking iron deposits in their brains. Their findings appeared in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery, and Psychiatry. Scanning for dementia progression in Parkinson's usually focuses on the loss of sections of the brain. However, brain imaging can actually typically be assessing dementia progression by the symptoms. So the physical exam and symptoms are the way my colleagues, all physicians, are able to assess the dementia progression. The new research suggests that scanning techniques might be able to detect dementia far earlier and more accurately.
5 surprising facts about advanced Parkinson's disease. As someone living with advanced Parkinson's disease, you may think of yourself as an expert on this brain disorder. And while you certainly know a lot about it, including how Parkinson's affects your body and your brain, there are some things that you've likely never heard before. Here are 5 surprising facts about advanced Parkinson's disease. Number 1. Hallucinations and delusions can be a side effect of the medications used to treat Parkinson's disease, rather than a symptom of disease progression. It can be challenging to know how much and how fast Parkinson's disease is progressing. For someone with the disease, having an out-of-body experience like a hallucination or a delusion can be frightening. But research shows that these experiences are, in most cases, a reaction to Parkinson's disease medications and do not point to disease progression. Number 2. People with advanced Parkinson's are more likely to experience life-threatening complications. Because Parkinson's affects your central nervous system, complications related to the disease can lead to life-threatening events. For instance, you may have more trouble swallowing because of advanced Parkinson's, which could increase the risk of food or fluids getting into your lungs and potentially causing pneumonia. If these related illnesses are left untreated or are untreatable, it can increase a person's risk of dying. Number 3. An advanced Parkinson's diagnosis typically happens after a person has already lost some of their motor skills. It can be hard to pinpoint the exact moment you thought to yourself, maybe it's Parkinson's. While the disease largely affects your brain, it's your body that tends to be impacted first. Tremors, stiffness, and loss of movement or mobility are just some of the disease's first warning signs. Advanced Parkinson's can cause these symptoms to worsen over time. Number 4. Studies show that certain regions of the United States include more people with Parkinson's than others. Where you call home may point to how many of your neighbors have Parkinson's disease too. Studies have found that the prevalence of the disease is 2 to 10 times higher in the Midwest and Northeast regions of the United States. On top of this, metropolitan cities tend to have more diagnosed patients than rural counties. Number 5. Parkinson's is not a death sentence, even though it's a progressive disease. Yes, Parkinson's is a progressive disease, which is why many doctors may tell you that you'll have it until the end of your life. But that doesn't necessarily mean it will cause the end of your life, because the disease is often diagnosed later in someone's life and advances thereafter. The majority of those diagnosed with the disease are already getting on in years.
Our last news is about type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is cured, not yet in human, but in mice, using stem cells, ladies and gentlemen. This new research uses an innovative technique to convert human stem cells into insulin-producing beta cells much more effectively. The insulin-producing cells created rapidly cured type 1 diabetes in mice, and the benefits lasted for 9 months. So human stem cells, shown here, can turn into insulin-producing beta cells. Transplanting billions of such cells may soon cure type 1 diabetes. As many as 187,000 children and adolescents only in the United States have been living with type 1 diabetes since 2018. An additional 1.4 million people aged over 20 years have the condition and manage it with insulin, according to the same statistics from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. In type 1 diabetes, a faulty autoimmune response causes the immune system to attack and destroy insulin-producing beta cells within the pancreas. Previous research has pointed to human pluripotent stem cells, HPSCs, as a potential therapeutic avenue for type 1 diabetes. Pluripotent stem cells are an attractive option for researchers from a therapeutic standpoint because they can self-renew in lab cultures and can differentiate into a variety of cell types. Researchers have previously used HPSCs to create insulin-producing beta cells. However, they were not able to do so effectively enough to cure type 1 diabetes. Jeffrey R. Millman, PhD, an assistant professor of medicine and biomedical engineering at the school I was graduated, Washington University. I was graduated from the MBA, Executive MBA, and this gentleman is at the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, who is the principal investigator of this new study, managed to overcome these previous obstacles. Congratulations. He explains the challenges that halted the scientists' progress until now. He says a common problem when you're trying to transform a human stem cell into an insulin-producing beta cell or a neuron or a heart cell, you also produce other cells that you don't want. So in the case of beta cells, we might get other types of pancreas cells or liver cells. While implanting these unnecessary or off-target cells does not cause any harm. Dr. Millman further explains that creating more of them offsets the number of therapeutically useful cells. The more off-target cells you get, the less therapeutically relevant cells you have, he says. You need about 1 billion beta cells to cure a person of diabetes. But if a quarter of the cells you make are actually liver cells or other pancreas cells, instead of needing 1 billion cells, you'll need about 1.25 billion cells, which makes curing the disease 25% more difficult. However, the new research used an innovative technique that bypassed this problem. The findings appear in the Journal of Nature Biotechnology. I invite all of you to check Nature Biotechnology, and I'm sure down the line, humanity will find cure for diabetes if we work together.
I want my children or my grandchildren. I don't want them to have to go through this.
Ellie Lopez has been living with type 1 diabetes for 14 years.
I've already been hospitalized twice, and it's hard. It's hard.
Her life a constant struggle, battling and balancing glucose levels.
If you take too much medicine, you'll have a low, so that's probably the worst feeling in the world. It's almost like you have to be a mathematician to figure out the right numbers all the time.
But that measuring and monitoring could soon be a thing of past. At San Antonio UT Health Sciences Center, doctors Bruno Durand and Ralph DeFranzo have now cured type 1 diabetes in mice.
Of course, it's a big step from mice to man, but if we could achieve this, this would actually be a cure for type 1 diabetes. For people with type 2 diabetes, they not only lack insulin, but they're also very resistant to insulin. So for people with type 2 diabetes, they wouldn't have to take insulin shots anymore.
To make that happen, DeFrancois and Durand changed the way the body works, using a cocktail of molecules to trick the pancreas into producing more vital insulin.
We can now use your own body to create the medicine, and that's a revolution for the future.
For the doctors, research now moves from mice to larger animals. And for Ellie Lopez, she now has a little hope to figure into her daily fight.
This is World Health News. Dr. Yavuz Selim Sılay from Ankara. I wish you a wonderful day. Take care and all the best.